Back with another video on the channel. Yes ma'am, yes sir. So today we got 50 Cent on the channel. I don't know if y'all been hearing, but it's like been some problems with him and his son. The son coming out of him, 50 Cent coming back, you know. So we're gonna talk about it today. It's the reason why they got beef. 50 Cent explains. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, push that notification bell, share this video. With that being said, let's get it.
I'm $1 billion nigga. My son gonna be $1 billion nigga.
Sometimes when you've been hurt a lot and you've done your share of the hurting too, it feels best to walk away. I came extremely close not long ago after I unexpectedly bumped into Marquise in my jeweler's store in Manhattan. I didn't even know he was in the city at the time, so I was shocked to see him. I tried to start a conversation, but he immediately accused me of having him followed. I told him that was crazy, but things only went downhill from there. The energy between us was terrible. Marquise even said, "What, I'm supposed to be afraid of you?" That really messed my head up. This was my firstborn son, my own flesh and blood, and we couldn't even speak to each other, let alone hug and laugh at an unexpected encounter.
It's only 49 seconds in, and you can just kind of hear the pain in 50's voice, you know what I'm saying? Dang. Come on.
Finally, without a word, Marquise basically fled the store, leaving me dumbfounded. A couple of my guys went down to the street and tried to catch up with Marquise and say, "Why are you bugging? This is your father. Come talk to him." But Marquise had already disappeared. He didn't want to be found. I couldn't even follow them into the street. My mind was fuzzy and I couldn't think straight. I had to take several minutes to compose myself. Entitlement creates resentment. There have been a lot of disappointing moments in my relationship with Marquise over the past few years. But the lowest was when I saw him post a picture of himself with Kyle McGriff, the son of Kenneth Supreme McGriff. Without rehashing too much bad history, Kenneth McGriff was one of the biggest drug dealers in Queens, and the man the authorities believe was behind the attempt on my life. So by posing with his son, Marquise was basically co-signing the individual who might have tried to have his father killed.
Do you think kids really be knowing, like, the backstories? Yeah, he had to know. He had to know. I don't know.
I had known Marquise resented me for a while, but I never imagined he would hate me so much that he'd allow himself to be used as a prop by my enemy. Someone recently sent me a quote from Benjamin Franklin that really resonated with me. Franklin's son had sided with the British in the Revolutionary War, despite the fact that his father was one of the leaders of the revolution. It messed with Ben Franklin for the rest of his life. He wrote, "Nothing has ever hurt me so much and affected me with such keen sensation as to find myself deserted in my old age by my only son. And not only deserted, but to find him taking up arms against me, and a cause wherein my good fame, fortune, and life were all at stake." Marquise might not have been literally taking up arms against me, but he was standing next to the son of someone who might have. I could recognize Franklin's pain. I spent a lot of time searching my soul, trying to understand what can make a son forsake his father like that. I've tried to put myself in Marquise's shoes, just as he doesn't know what it's like to grow up under the circumstances I did.
That's crazy. That's kind of sad, too. Because you would think, why not just have a simple conversation? But I know it takes way more than that, and it takes a lot, especially when you feel like... Because obviously, what's his name, Marquise? Feels a certain way about 50. 50's trying to understand why he feels that way, but can't really talk to him, you know? That's tough. That's tough, because a lot of people need that. A lot of people need that father and son relationship.
I don't know what it was like to grow up as the son of 50 Cent. Certainly on the surface, he had everything he wanted. But there must have been pressures and insecurities from being my son that I can't identify with.
Right.
I accept that. I still can't see how those pressures and insecurities would force a child to go against his own father, especially a father who has provided everything for him. As I go over our relationship in my mind, the only answer that I can come up with is that I actually might have done too much for Marquise. How do you make a privileged child feel deprived or angry? I guess by getting him whatever he wants.
And that's crazy, because if y'all haven't been keeping up, Marquise says that, you know, 50 don't spend no time with him. 50 ain't never been there. 50 ain't never did nothing but send a check. Now, we don't know what's true. We don't know. But that's what the son has said allegedly.
Like many kids from his generation, Marquise has always been into sneakers. Because he's my son, he couldn't just rock any old sneakers either. If a new pair of Jordans came out, he had to have them right away. If Marquise asked for a pair of Jordans on Monday, his mother would make sure they were on his feet by Tuesday. It still didn't make him happy. Instead of being excited to rock his new pair of Jordans, all Marquise could think about was all of the retro Jordans he didn't have. All the different flyaways and colors that weren't in his closet. When he should have felt gratification, all he really felt was disappointment. I could not relate. The kid didn't have a job, but somehow wanted to collect $300 sneakers, and then still felt unhappy when he actually got them? His entire mindset was alien to me.
Okay, so as a parent, let me ask you this. Is it right to still continue to give that child all them things when you know that child is not understanding like how hard it is to work, how hard it is to make money, how what you have to do, you know what I'm saying? Like I understand you're trying to provide a life for that kid, to try to provide a better life for that kid, a better life than you had, right? I understand that. But it comes to a point where when a kid is not appreciative or understanding of the hard work that you put in to get where you at, to have that life for that kid, it's kind of like, dang, like, let me take a step back. Let me try to reevaluate or take a different route to parenting so that kid can understand or be better, Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense.
I have to believe his mother was behind his disappointment. He thought he could have every sneaker ever made, even though he hadn't actually earned any of them.
I ain't never seen her.
He's not regular, she would tell me when I asked why he needed another new pair. He's your son. She had already established a pattern that you didn't have to work for something to get it.
Dang.
Marquise was just following her lead. I didn't want that sense of entitlement to become a core part of who he was. I was determined to help him learn that he would actually be much happier when he worked for the things he wanted, that their value would increase exponentially. One day I was driving through Harlem when I noticed that a sneaker store was going out of business on 125th Street. My mind immediately flashed to my son. Marquise loves sneakers. So I pulled over to see if I can grab him a couple of pairs on the cheap.
And he didn't have to do that.
Being naturally inquisitive, I asked the owner why he was going out of business if sneakers were so hot. He explained that he picked the wrong location and never got enough foot traffic to make it work. My mind started clicking. Say, how much do you pay for a pair of Air Force Ones, I asked. About $40, he told me. And how much you sell them for? About $80. That seemed like a pretty solid profit margin to me. What are you going to do with all these Air Forces now, I asked. I don't know, he said. Probably just stash them in my basement till I figure out my next move.
Dang.
I tell you what, I told him. I'm going to buy the rest of the inventory from you right now at cost. The guy jumped at my offer. Suddenly, I was the new owner of a couple hundred pairs of Nikes.
That's crazy. That's crazy. What?
I hatched a plan. Marquise was in Atlanta, where I knew storage space was cheap. I would ship the sneakers down to him, where he could put them in a warehouse. Instead of opening up a brick-and-mortar shop, which would have taken a lot of investment and depended on foot traffic, he could set up an internet site selling sneakers, what is referred to as direct-to-consumer sales. All it would require would be for him to run the site and maybe hire a friend to manage the warehouse side of things.
So he literally helped set him up. You know what I'm saying? To try to, make some income on his own, have a little job on his own. He literally... Okay.
The idea felt like a winner.
So he
As soon as I left the shop, I called up my son. Yo, Marquise, you know how you always been fascinated with shoes? I asked. Well, I just figured out a way you can afford them yourself and start to earn a little money of your own, too. I broke down the whole plan for him. I explained how it was a great opportunity that would not only support his passion, but allow him to get a nuts and bolts understanding of how business works. This is a layup, I told him. Not too many stores get to start off with free inventory.
Right.
You could really do something with this. If you're truly passionate about sneakers, this is the time to show it.
Well,
Marquise said
like
all the right
things
things on the phone. How excited he was and how it sounded like a great opportunity. So I had the shoes shipped down to Atlanta. Then I never heard from him about it again.
Dang.
Weeks and months passed. Finally, one day, his mother called me and announced that she and Marquise been talking. Instead of an online sneaker store, they wanted to open a clothing boutique in Atlanta. I couldn't believe what I was hearing.
So my thing was, you didn't hear from him months. Was you still, like, was 50 still reaching out? Was Marquise, like, does Marquise reach out to 50? Or does he only reach out when he wants something? This is tough because I feel like the communication barrier is bad, you know, and it's like 50. Like I said, I don't know if we don't know if 50 was around or if he tried to be around and Marquise just didn't want him around, or if the mom was saying different stuff in the son's ear to where, you know, it made him believe certain things. Because, you know, if 50 wasn't around, but he just consistently bought him stuff, made sure they was good, of course you're not going to have the best relationship because it's all about being present, actually being there. Yeah, money's cool and fun and all, but a lot of kids look for you being present in their life. And if they were just using 50 for his money, that's not cool at all either, you know? Like, it got to work both ways.
Plan I envisioned didn't include her. I wanted our son to learn how to be responsible for himself. By injecting herself into the mix, she was just trying to keep him a boy a little longer.
What?
I still wanted Marquise to get some experience, so I said, sure, let me know when you guys want to do something. But of course, their boutique never went anywhere. And the online sneaker shop didn't either.
Dang.
My issue with Marquise wasn't that he wanted all those sneakers. When I was a kid, I wanted sneakers too. The difference is that I was willing, make that determined, to do the work necessary to obtain them.
Okay. Fact.
I wouldn't for a second want Marquise to have to resort to the type of work I put in to get my kicks. At the time, I perceived selling drugs as the only viable option in my environment. So I pursued it. Marquise has so many more options in front of him than I ever had. I just needed to see him pick one and put in the work. Sure, Marquise never following up on the sneakers might seem like a small thing. The type of irresponsibility and lack of initiative teenagers and young adults display all the time. But it was a huge disappointment to me. Forget about being able to afford his personal sneaker collection. That online store could have ended up making us both a killing.
Facts.
We had that conversation years ago. Since then, online sneaker sites have become incredibly lucrative. GOAT.com is valued at $550 million, while StockX.com has $1 billion valuation.
Dang.
If Marquise had followed through on what we talked about, he could have been included in that conversation.
Facts.
He could be independently rich.
Boy, you look like
Shit,
your
he
daddy.
might be in a position to tell me to go fuck myself and my money if that's what he wanted to do. I'm sure when Marquise reads about GOAT or StockX, deep down he probably realizes I was right. Maybe he says, why did I not listen to my father and start that fucking online shop? Or maybe he can't bring...
Dang. Well, y'all gotta let me know what y'all think down below of the situation. If you was a parent, how would you handle the situation? I mean, if this was your kid, how would you handle the situation? Sometimes it sucks being a celebrity because all this is in the spotlight, and then it's like you really trying to do right, but then it's like, then you have the media, then you have people leaking your business and stuff, so it gets harder. So y'all gotta let me know what y'all would do in this situation or what you think of this situation. It's sad to hear because it really seems like 50 was really trying to help, but at the same time, we ain't there. We don't know if he was really present and stuff like of that sort, so we can't really say too much. But it was a good informational video to get insight what's going on, allegedly. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know any other videos you'd like to see me do. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, push that notification bell. With that being said, see you guys next video.